In these 5 units of Module 4, we're considering some specific ideas or notions to be found within the Catholic moral tradition or within Catholic social teaching, and setting them against some specific issues that arise in contemporary healthcare delivery or healthcare ethics in the United States. And we're setting them side by side, really just to see what kinds of things come about or what kinds of issues arise or what kinds of insights we're able to develop when we put an overarching value, like something like the common good, which we're dealing with for this unit, against a very specific practical policy decision or policy kind of challenge. Like in this unit, we're considering the issue of AIDS and HIV prevention. So I've given you some reading to do, introducing you to the idea of the common good, and then we're also going to look at a quantitative biometric study, sociological study about HIV prevention, and the perception amongst college students of sexual risk and that kind of thing. But in addition to this, it's good for us to have in our mind a couple of other terms that we've been dropping into discussions throughout the course of the semester, but that are just as important for us to have in mind when we're discussing these specific issues as well as any others for the rest of the course. The first is we've been relying a little bit on St. Thomas Aquinas, the medieval philosopher and theologian, for some ideas and notions that are helping to illuminate our discussion of medical ethics. And one of the important notions of Thomas when it comes to dealing with the world, or when it comes to evaluating what's going on in the world, is that Thomas will refer to reality, that is, everything that is true, everything that exists outside of ourselves, and the situation of reality by a Latin phrase. He refers to reality as it is as the ipsa res, the IPSA res, RES. Now, if you're pre-law, or if you're going to go to law school, you're going to get a little used to discussing the res ipsa. It's the same two words, but sort of in a different order, because lawyers and judges will talk about the res ipsa, basically, as I understand it, meaning the matter at hand, whatever the issue is at stake in a particular case or a particular argument. Well, Thomas uses the same two words, although put the other way around, ipsa res, to refer to everything that is true, everything that exists outside of ourselves. And it's important for Thomas, in his vision of what the moral life is, or how to make ethical decisions, it's important in this vision to realize that human beings, though we are gifted with an intellect and an ability to apprehend things that are true and real outside of ourselves, and we're given the ability to understand things and do really amazing things with our minds, we still never quite possess a perfect understanding of what the ipsa res is, of what total reality is, because we're limited. Our minds can do certain things, they can't do other things. It takes us a long time to develop insight and understanding into what's going on around us. So it's important in any kind of ethical inquiry to really take stock of the ipsa res, of what reality is, what is really going on. And the better that we're able to actually take stock of what's going on, then the better we'll be able to sort of talk about things intelligently and talk about things in terms of their ethical soundness. So that's a broad notion, but one that I'd like for us to kind of have in mind as we continue to discuss things. The other two set of opposite notions that we should make a bit more explicit at this point in the semester is this. Human beings, we tend to desire things. We tend to make decisions that things will be good for us. We tend to be interested in pursuing things. And we often refer to those things that we desire, that we think are good for us, the things that we want to pursue, as values. As values. A value is an attitude or a posture that we have towards something that we wish to pursue, something that's real outside of us, whatever it may be, where we see it as a positive thing, as a desirable thing, as something worthy of our attention and our energy. That is what our value is. Our value is what we consider something worthy of our attention and our energy. The opposite of a value is a disvalue. So what we do not consider worthy of our attention and energy, what we do not want to pursue, what we do not think is good, in a sense, we hold as a disvalue. And a disvalue can be of two sorts. A disvalue can be actually a negative value. It's the kind of thing where we'd say, no, actually, I really do not want to pursue that thing because I think that's bad. I really want to set that aside because I don't think that's good for me at all. That's one sort of disvalue. Another sort of disvalue, a bit of a looser disvalue, is one where we're just not particularly interested or concerned in it. It's not really of any particular relevance in a particular situation, or it really doesn't matter. For example, think of all the decisions that you made today in getting out of bed. Some of them may have been very important ethically, some of them may have not have been. I imagine that some of the ones that would have represented values would have been things that you've had to do today where in order to be faithful to a relationship that you have, or to take care of one of your children if you're a parent, or to take care of a parent if you're a child taking care of one of your parents, that decisions that you make for the benefit of others in those relationships, those are values, those involve values, those are ethically important decisions and ethically worthy of reflection. Some things that maybe you avoided today as a disvalue would have been deliberately being mean or cruel to somebody if you had been tempted to do that at work, or maybe cheating on your taxes if you happen to be putting your taxes together right now. Whatever the case may be, there may be some things that you actually put some energy into avoiding because you felt that they were not the right things to do, and then there may have been other kinds of disvalues, things that really didn't matter, whether you wore a blue shirt today or a white shirt, what kinds of shoes you wore today, whether you had milk in your coffee or whether you just had half and half in your coffee. Some things like that, really, they're disvalues just in the sense because they're not all that important. So have those things in mind. The ipsa res as the reality that's outside of ourselves, that we increasingly understand and apprehend, but we don't have control over. Values as being things that we pursue as goods for ourselves or others. And disvalues as things that we either avoid pursuing because we feel they're bad for us, or they're just not particularly relevant at all. And enjoy the reading, and I look forward to further discussion. Thanks.